Welcome back. Well, Starz Accessories reported its first quarterly numbers post its listing. We have Sidhartha Bhushan Khurana, the managing director of the company, who joins us on the show. Hi, good morning, Sid. Thanks a lot for joining in. Well, you've done pretty okay, actually, in terms of growth. There's a good growth that we've seen, high teens, with the margins as well holding at around 19% or thereabouts. We're going to be focusing on the top points that we're tracking: strong auto sales numbers, premiumization in focus, and finally, the company's growth strategies. So give us a guidance for the year then. What kind of growth number should we be looking at? And margins sustainable at around 19%? Is there an upside risk out here?
Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, I think it's been a pretty good quarter for us and also the half year. So if I compare H125 to H126, on the growth side, on the revenue side, there is a growth of about 6.5%. And on the PAT side, there is a growth of almost like 23%. So there has been a margin expansion. I think going forward, we think that the margins are sustainable. And I think on a year-to-year basis, it could be anywhere between 9 to 10% on the top line, that the growth we're seeing right now.
Okay, all right. And if you could give us some more color then. Penetration is still lower here in India. How do you see the trajectory move up? Give us a sense in terms of exports as well as average selling price. How do you see these parameters move in the time to come? Because this is something that will fuel growth. And in turn, if you get better sales numbers or average selling price, then that flows down into your margins as well.
Absolutely. So I think as you talked about, right, penetration in India has been pretty low. It's at the moment about 0.6 helmets per biker, which globally is at about 1.52. So we are actually less than half as compared to the global average. So going forward, we see an upside on the penetration in India. And I think on the export side, as you mentioned, right, there has been a growth year on year as well. And we're seeing a lot of traction on the export side as well. So I'll just give you a number. The helmet market globally has grown about 6.5% over the last 5 years, whereas out of India, the exports have grown at 21%. So we expect these kind of numbers to continue for a while. And I think in terms of ASP, right, export helps ASPs. Our ASP on the domestic side is about close to 730 rupees, whereas on the export is close to 1600. This is the blended ASP across both the brands. So as exports increase, we see margin expansion and also revenue growth happening because of exports.
Sidhartha, morning, Prashant here. Right now, a law says that with every two-wheeler, you need to, there's one helmet, right? Which has to be a part of the sale. Is there any change, mandating two helmets? And so that is one. And any other regulatory sort of imperative, which, because of road safety, etc., because of all the accidents which you foresee happening at the center or state level, which will be consequential for your business?
So at the moment, the law says that with every motorcycle sold, you have to give one helmet to the consumer who's buying the motorcycle. So it's currently implemented in about 9 states. And there was a draft regulation in June 2025, which said that now 2 helmets have to be given to the consumer while buying a motorcycle. Although it's a draft regulation, we don't know when the regulation is going to come into effect. But sooner or later, we think it's going to come into effect, and that's going to have a consequence on the industry as such. The industry is going to grow because you're giving 2 helmets in the same house.
Yeah. So why is it implemented only in 9 states, you said?
So it's I think the implementation is a state subject right now. So that's why recently Uttarakhand came into this thing as well. They implemented this rule as well. So now when you have 2 helmets being given with every motorcycle, so you're actually addressing the same house. That means you're addressing a pillion rider as well. So we expect the industry to grow as well.
No, absolutely. It's a huge tailwind for you if more states implement a law, and with every motorcycle it's not 1 but 2 helmets. That's a massive fillip, right? But Sidhartha, to go back to your exports point, because exports obviously are going to be very lucrative from a margin expansion perspective as well. Can you share some timelines with us? What is your export ramp-up timeline? Which markets are you looking at? You also, I think, entered into a tie-up with Decathlon, but I'm not sure if that's only for local sales, or will you be supplying to them globally as well?
So for Decathlon, at the moment, the first production will roll out in the final quarter of this financial year, and that will be primarily for the domestic market. But eventually, the plan is to also export to various markets for Decathlon. And in terms of export strategy, I would say that there are a lot of large markets that we are addressing right now. So Colombia is one, Mexico is another one, Indonesia, Philippines, Spain. And as a part of the strategy, we would be opening a warehouse and a subsidiary in Spain this year, just to be so that the time to market is much faster. At the moment, if somebody places an order, it takes almost like 60 days door to door after the order is placed. So once you have your own warehouse, you're much faster to the market and you can gain market share as well.
Okay.
It's a lovely location for a warehouse, I must say. And obviously, it cuts down your time to market to Latin America.
Yeah.
So it makes full sense.
All right. And Sidhartha, I need to compliment you. Some of the new helmets that you've launched are quite good. That day I was, driving back from work. I stopped at Dadar and I looked at the collection. Next few days, I'll be picking up a new helmet after a few years. So all the best with regard to business. Your shareholders will track the numbers. I'm tracking the, the new variants that are coming out with as well. Wishing you a good day ahead and we catch up rather soon.
Thank you.